Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Super Mario Odyssey 80% League match between TiloTech, aka the Smiley Face, and Chaospringle on the right here with in real life Cappy on his bed. Jesus Christ, this guy is prepared, coming in hot. And I'm still joined by Scotch and Ty Guy on another co-commentary. And I'm interested in this match. Chaospringle, obviously, strong player. Actually, when I was doing those interviews with most of these players, he came up so far as the player everybody was most scared about.
Well, no, I'm not surprised with that. I mean, Chaos has just kind of been the all-around player. So obviously people are going to be gunning for him, but also saying, you know what, you need to tread carefully around him. TiloTech, on the other hand, one of those guys who we haven't seen too much of, but very excited to see him in this race regardless. Looks like we'll get started here in just one moment. Setting up for that DSTA, of course, in Sand Kingdom. So
TiloTech actually surprised me quite a lot when he was showing up in these early tournaments we had in the GSA. I guess it wasn't even season 1 at the time. It was like before the first season even started. We had like a couple 80% tournaments, and he consistently surprised me with his consistency, getting relatively low times without going for like crazy strats or something. He, for example, when he had like a 104 or 103, he wouldn't even do stuff like turnip clip, which was a thing back then. Obviously now as 1.3 is the fastest version, that's kind of gone. But yeah, he actually didn't do any of the crazy strats and still had lots of consistency. I'm interested to see what he does nowadays, because his PB obviously improved quite a bit. However, it's one of the weaker PBs in the league. That doesn't mean that he can take the upset, but Chaospringle obviously super scary to play against.
yeah, we've got the countdown in the back. We are ready to go. And of course, as we said before, those that daylight savings time manipulation being set up beforehand for Sand Kingdom. We'll talk more about that once we get there, but we have got the start and we're off.
Yeah, as the intro plays, yeah, it's probably the best to talk about it, as these guys had to sand later on, so don't worry about it so far. Just keep in mind that they did do something with their in-game clock, and as they travel to the Sand Kingdom, we will briefly explain what the mechanic behind that is and why that's actually a speedrun strat. But for now, we are going to be starting off in Cap Kingdom. Chaospringle, not known for his Cap Kingdom, mainly known for his overall gameplay, but I still would give him the upper hand in this kingdom anyway.
I'm really interested to see. I love this face cam, getting to see runners' reactions. So very interested to see how Chaos reacts to his strats and everything throughout the run. Obviously, TiloTech, just a smiley face, just kind of happy to be here.
Yeah, and actually trying to buffer a spin pound there out of that cutscene, but not finding the angle in time and immediately taking a bonk there against the railing on the right. That's fine. Gonna be losing a little bit of time here to Chaos, but we are looking at maybe 4 seconds.
Capturing this frog, doing our best to vector him around.
It was a fat vector right there on the left. I do agree with the chat right there. TiloTech definitely has that dreamy smile. I'm kind of getting lost in his eyes as well. It's kind of hard to focus on his gameplay since, yeah, those eyes, dude.
They're just kind eyes. Square kind eyes.
And Chaospringle is pretty much one topper phase ahead here, so we're still looking at around 4 to 5 seconds of a lead in Cap Kingdom. Doesn't mean too much, even though the first moon skip is gone in Cascade Kingdom. If you, for example, miss a Madame Brutal chain jump capture, or maybe if you do decide to go for chest flip, which Chaos certainly is going to do, because optimally that trick still saves half a second. If you miss it though, the time can immediately be, that lead can immediately be gone.
Well, Chaos cracking those fingers, warming those hands up, getting some stretches in before Cascade. Obviously showing Cap not too difficult, but really getting into the run now here with Cascade.
Yeah, I don't know what's so funny here, but Chaos seems like he can't really contain himself. He's almost breaking out in laughter here. Very nice spin throw there, out of the roll. Very clean dive out of the change-up as well. And these small things nowadays actually do matter in Cascade. You can't do too much anymore. The difference here, Tylo versus Chaos. Tylo basically uncaptured that change-up and then had to turn around mid-air. But Chaos basically got an insta-dive out of that change-up, immediately getting more rolls in. Small, but very important when you push for these world record times nowadays.
I'll be skipping, globing the Odyssey, gonna head on over to capture this T-Rex and take on Madame Brutal. Only time we face her at all in this run.
Yeah, and I'm glad, because the refight is pretty much the most boring thing you could think of. It's like the same fight, the change-up has 3 more heads, and it's basically... Yeah, it's just boring. It is, I don't know, it's supposed to be like the end boss of the Moon Cave, just before you head over to Bowser. It's kind of like anticlimactic, so I'm glad we were able to skip that refight.
I totally agree.
Keep in mind, these runners do want to be careful when it comes to their coin counts. In the 1.3 version, you do have access to a coin hint art that you can collect in Metro Kingdom later on, and these guys will be doing that. However, with Sphinx Clip not being in the run anymore, this big chunk of coins is not available to you. You could obviously still talk to the Sphinx, get those coins, but that is a strategy that we haven't seen on the highest level of play for 3 months or something. Whenever basically 1.3 came out, which I think was in like late April. It was definitely during PACE, so it must have been in like late April.
Well, Chaos going to be heading over. I expect him to do this chest clip, just because of the level of play that we see from him. And he will be doing so. TiloTech, on the other hand, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, this looks very good. Gets like an up warp almost straight back inbounds. Tylo's going to be opting for that Cliff Moon. And I can respect that. That's exactly what I was mentioning. If Chaos was, for some reason, gonna miss that clip, Tylo could have come back from that deficit. But overall in Cascade, he didn't really lose too much time to Chaos. Chaos, a little bit cleaner, was definitely visible, opting for the faster moon. Cleaner movement when going towards the first moon. But still a very controlled lead here for him. Nothing that TiloTech has to sweat about quite yet. But as we leave Cascade Kingdom, I'm briefly going to once again explain the daylight savings time manipulation. Kind of a hard word to say, so we usually just call it DSTA. That makes it a little bit easier. But essentially, since once a year our clock gets set 1 hour ahead, basically, as we move over to the summertime, these runners will actually be setting their clock a couple minutes before that event takes place. So as they play through the game, their in-game clock is moving on, and then just when they hit Sand Kingdom, if they played consistent enough, they will be able to plant the seed before that time change takes place, and then do some stuff in the downtime. And as they get back, the in-game clock has basically skipped 1 hour, and the seed will immediately start growing. Usually this takes around 15 minutes, and that gives us access to an extremely quick moon.
Yeah, so we'll grab this bird moon, head into the pipe, and as soon as they get out of the pipe, that plant should be grown fully. I've only seen this manipulation messed up 1 time and have to have a backup for it, but shouldn't have any problems here. Looks like they're right on time. You know, if you're in between that 6 and 7 minute mark, you should be able to get it pretty freely.
Yeah, then you can obviously also kind of adapt with your game start, depending on how consistent you are. You can start the game a little bit earlier, a little bit later. Just want to have a little bit of leniency, specifically when we come to these races. We saw it from Tylo there. Sometimes you just take a bonk, you just miss a Madame Brutal face. And you still want to be ready for those kind of shenanigans when you race, because backups in races are always super interesting. I love watching them, but for the runner, it's always kind of a panic attack.
Well, no panic attacks here. Heading on over after ground pounding there on top of that kind of sand mound. Nice triple jump onto the ice cold backflip and nice movement on top of that archway on Chaos's side. TiloTech will want to follow suit.
And very nice to see that all of these small optimizations have been pretty much adapted by all of the players nowadays. Even small things like TiloTech going for the roll cancel jump there to go over to the ledge on the archway. Looks like Chaospringle is going to be attempting to go for the single build strategy here, and actually looks like Tylo might opt to do the same. Basically, you are able to control that bullet bill, make it fly towards the pillar, grab the moon, and then still make it all the way over to the pillar. Very nice roll cancel jump into a cap bounce from Tylo as well, so I think he should be fine. Just needs to be careful to make that dive work. Barely gets it. And very optimal completion of the dram segment for both of them.
Yeah, for that single bill, you run out of time really quickly, so you've got to really speed up when you have control of the bullet bill, so that you can get that pillar on time. We've seen that pillar missed a couple times now. Once earlier with Miwi.
Yeah, this is a good time to flex a little bit, because I actually came up with that strat initially, but I didn't get it. I posted the idea on Twitter, because I didn't know how to make it all the way over there with that bill. And then Goyuya answered me, and he was able to do it. And ever since, it's always been a theorized strat, but with the newest sand road, it actually found a use.
There you go, finding out how this route actually got made to a certain degree.
Yeah, definitely the most fun part for me when it comes to this game. Sadly, at this point, it seems like we checked all of the options. I'm still, like I say this almost daily, I still hope for this one day Circle returns to the community, he just breaks the game, suddenly the world record gets down to 30 minutes, everything changes. Just seems so unlikely with this game. It's such a polished game, surprisingly enough.
TiloTech missing a single note, having to jump all the way back over to the other palm tree. Going to be losing a hefty bit of time there based off that movement. But Chaos heading out of here.
Yeah, it's fine overall. Missing that note is going to be a little bit of a tilter, but as long as you don't really mess up the timer completely, which is very hard to do, you have a lot of leniency for those notes. You really got to fall down and then like bonk trying to get back up. You are fine overall, but Chaos is further building up his lead, now getting a 10-23 sand fade out, and we are going to be able to see TiloTech here. And actually looking at a 34, so only 11 seconds. Okay, might be a 35 here. Let's say 12 seconds between those guys, which is actually pretty surprising. Chaospringle definitely showed some advanced strategies in Cap and Cascade Kingdom, but that Sand Kingdom looked really clean from Tylo. Other than that note mistake, he pretty much went for everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you expect from Chaos, though. One of those top-level runners who just goes for broke. Likely will be setting up here for this late clip. Hopefully he can get first try.
Yep, this is a standard strat nowadays. A strat that we made fun of this. I remember this was being made fun of when this was found, and I recently... I can't remember where I saw it. Oh, it was actually, I rewatched my old PB, which is actually almost a year old at this point. It might be a year old right now. And someone came into my chat asking why that lay clip, which Chaos is getting very nicely here, wasn't in the best theoretical timesheet at the time. And we were claiming that, at that point we were claiming, yeah, it maybe saves like a second. We had like no idea at that time, kind of like a year ago. And nowadays we know it saves up to 5 to 7, depending on how fast you are. And it's pretty much a must-do strategy for these top-level runners.
Second try, late clips for both Chaos and Tylo, so Tylo not able to make up any time off of Chaos there. Just 3 moons to go here, picking up Dory Moon real quick.
Yeah, Lake turns into a pretty Resident Sleeper Kingdom after that potential down throw, or some players go for the ground pound dive to get this moon here, the cheap crossing moon. But after that, it is pretty straightforward. You grab that Dory Moon, you shake for the pillar, And there is a little bit of tricky movement here as you enter the dome. You want to be clean as you enter the NPC room and talk to the NPC as fast as possible. Chaos gets that very nicely, but it's pretty straightforward, not too hard at all.
Chaos, just like that, is done with Lake. We'll be heading into Wooded now. Pretty tough area, would you say, Limp?
For sure. This will actually never change, I'm pretty sure. I recently also talked... I mean, I'm kind of giving away some information for the recent interviews I had with some of these runners, but... a thing that comes up time and time again when it comes to weaknesses is nerfs, and everybody says where they feel nerfs the most is still that nut clip section, that out of bounds section. This has been a strat for over a year in the any percent run now, but it will never stop being scary, because you know you can miss the clip and boom, 30 seconds down the drain. And even if you get the clip, you have to make it through that out of bounds section, you have to make it up that ramp. I just know, even from doing attempts myself, as soon as you just ground pound that nut moon on the very top there on the fence, it's like a huge, like a boulder drops down, and you feel so much better when it comes to Wooded. But this will never change. Wooded is just super scary, and on the highest level it's not even over there. It's just such a crazy kingdom.
Yeah, there's just so much danger everywhere. I mean, deep woods in particular being the scariest, probably.
Yeah, for sure. There's pretty much like a run killer loading zone below you.
There's no way to get yourself or teleport yourself out of there. Chaos heading over for this movement over the waterfall. Does a nice job with it, going for the tree route. Saves a ton of time over that story moon with the piranha plant.
Yeah, and I agree, but in Odyssey, with second is like a ton of time. And that route saves like 2, maybe 3 if you play like out of your mind and go for all of the fast strats when you do that flower road skip. But like actually, that would be considered a ton of time in Odyssey.
Tylo not opting for that tree route, so we will see him pick up the story moon.
Very clean out of bounds movement from Chaos, and let's see, Tylo looks like he's able to do the nut clip himself. Needs to make it onto that ledge out of bounds and then perform these movements. This moon grab is always the scary part. It's actually a little bit far to the right there for my tastes, but still grabs the moon. Maybe I just didn't like that camera angle much. And both of them getting back inbounds, that's the most important part.
Yeah, really nice out of bounds movement on both sides of the screen. You'll really get a taste of the difference here with that tree route over the story moon, just based off these two guys and their decisions. But Chaos making his way, doing a nice job through this kind of maze area.
Yeah, and in this case, Chaos is already ahead, even though he has 1 extra moon. We might still see basically Chaos come back for the flower road skip as Tylo hits the piranha plant, but keeping in mind that Tylo then has to collect that story moon, and it's going to be basically sitting in place for 20 seconds. You almost see them meet up here on that jump. But Chaos now has to do the flower road skip without a spin pound or anything. He just has to basically keep his momentum, make his way over, gets that nicely. Triple jump over to the tower, gets a nut on the tower, and is then going to enter the actual, like the big tower. Actually, I guess both of them are towers. I forgot that what is the name for that moon again? Dude, I'm rusty as hell. The nuts growing on the... I don't know. The one on the tower, chat. This is where you come in clutch.
Yeah, as you were talking, Tylo moving over for that nut past the piranha plant. Took a little bit of a bonk as he broke the nut.
Exactly. It's apparently the crumbling tower. So this is the crumbling tower. It makes sense. There's these wooden platforms that crumble. And then I guess this is the main tower of the Wooded Kingdom that TiloTech is now going to be entering. Chaospringle is already done with it and is making his way towards the nut around the corner. Looking really clean so far. Yeah, actually. Wait, has he? Okay, okay, he missed leg clip once, but other than that, he's like pretty much flawless. Which is, I don't want to say it's expected from Chaos. That just increases the pressure for no reason, but I'm not as surprised.
Uh-oh. Tylo needing to reset up for that rollout. Didn't get a good angle. He didn't sit on that like little ledge platform that is on the fence line there, surrounding that the flower garden.
Yeah, and some runners go for that intentionally. Like some runners will spin pound on that lower area instead. And I'm not sure if that was his intention or if he just missed that basically in between the fence part. But he seemed a little lost there. So whatever it was, he may have not been able to buffer a spin pound. He had to basically get back up and do that part again. And Chaospringle now able to leave Wooded with an 18-27, really nice. We had a 12-second lead for him as he left Sand. And we are looking at around a 40 to 50 second lead now after 2 kingdoms, without Tylo even making any like major mistakes, I think.
Yeah, it increased to about 23 seconds out of Lake. So we're definitely looking at a more significant lead here for Chaos as he takes on Bowser.
Yeah, banner going to be happening here for TiloTech, looking around a 1906, 1905. So actually looking at around 40 seconds as the lead has now increased for Chaospringle. It's going to be fighting Bowser and Cloud. Obviously, pretty straightforward fight. Not too many things that you can do other than potentially go for that hint dart, and Chaos is not going to be doing that. Very, very niche strategy. Actually don't know if Tyron goes for it nowadays. I don't think he did it last race. Mitch might go for it occasionally. But you can collect your hint dart here during the Cloud boss fight without losing a frame. The hint dart that these runners are going to be collecting instead in Metro later maybe loses half a second, so it's like one of the tiniest time saves available and extremely hard to do.
Really nice fight there from Chaos. Now into Lost Kingdom. You know, Lost a little bit trickier than people would think. Sometimes, you know, the poison's everywhere and there's not a whole lot of area to work with. So Chaos is going to need to be careful through here if he wants to maintain this lead. In TiloTech going to want to go into Lost confidently.
Yeah, this arguably has been the deciding kingdom in the PACE playoffs last season. Like, the amount of runs that suffered like tremendously here, and I'm saying lost like a minute or something. A very common mistake is here, like for example, dying at that butterfly section. You lose so much time because you start back at the Odyssey and you have to go all the way around again. That happened a lot, and this kingdom was super underrated at the time. Everybody was thinking about, oh god, Lake Clip, oh god, Sphinx Clip, because that obviously was a thing at the time. But this kingdom actually destroyed people.
Yeah, even as much as these guys play it, it still gives these guys some grief and difficulty. So these guys definitely want to be careful through here. Chaos doing a nice job. Doing a nice job to take care of Klepto as well.
Yeah, Klepto already being taken care of, is now going to be getting that moon from the wrecked rock block. All he needs to do now is go for that infamous triple jump cage. Triple jumping over to the cage, ducking below the trapeze, which is the official name of that enemy, getting the moon and then spin pounding under the bridge. Just gotta get out of there. Might opt for the up throw dive. Gets it. Pretty clean lost.
Wow, I mean, he's going to be happy with that as he heads into Night Metro. We talk about Lost, you know, it's so... these guys play it so often, and most of the time they get out of it pretty cleanly, but it's still really nice to see how well it can be done, and Chaos really showing it off.
Yeah, not quite hitting that sub 22, which is famous for a very good sign of a crazy pace. Chaos obviously... Oh god, TiloTech is actually going to be falling down on the left screen, but is able to save himself on that root of the tree. But still, great pace from Chaospringle. Definitely has a chance to obtain an amazing time. But TiloTech isn't quite out of it, even after that save. For the PB difference between these guys, he's still doing fairly well. And this is a lead that Chaos has that is maybe scary when you look at it at first, but not completely out of reach.
Yeah, that was a really nice save there from TiloTech. You know, the awareness to know where the root was at the base of the tree. Avoid taking a death there, especially at a critical point in that part of Lost. You know, so critical to make sure you get that done. Not having to go back all the way to the Odyssey and come back up top to the tree to grab that moon.
Yeah, for sure.
Chaos heading into the interior of the Skyscraper now. Not worrying about that. Goomba Heck elevator. Skip.
Yeah, definitely still a strat that high risk, low reward is probably the best call. I've seen Chaos go for it on some runs where he was like, oh, I'm going to be going for it. I'll decide this run is kind of bad. I try it out, and then he ends up dying there and resets the run. And even if he got it, wouldn't have still been an amazing run. So it's definitely still on the tricky side. And it's going to be taking a bonk. One of the first straight up bonk mistakes that I've... Maybe actually the first straight up bonk mistake this entire run.
You didn't even see it on his face. He was just saying, what?
Yeah.
Was that?
Doesn't quite nail that angle on that roll cancel. And he isn't happy. But now moving on to Mecha Wiggler. And we talked about it time and time again. Sometimes you feel robbed in the split because there is a tiny bit of RNG here. You can react to it quite well and diminish your losses. Basically do some damage control, but sometimes you do feel robbed in the Wiggler. And we see how Chaos' pattern is going to turn out.
TiloTech is going to be entering this Mecha Wiggler fight pretty much as Chaos is finishing it up. Okay, a decent pattern. Missing a couple shots, taking his time on these last two before finishing it up.
Chaos seems to be happy about something. That Wiggler obviously nothing to be ashamed of. But who knows what this man is currently talking about. Maybe he's talking to himself. I doubt it. Probably in some sort of voice call, but seems to be in a good mood. Now Tylo is going to be facing Wiggler in the Wiggler in the second phase here. Interested to see what pattern he gets and how good he will be reacting to it. Very nice shots very early on. And very nice Wiggler for him.
Wow, not missing a single shot there.
Day Metro starting off on the right screen though, as we look at a pretty long cutscene on the left. Chaos with a clean drive-by scoot clip. And obviously one of the runners that is gonna be going for that bullet building route. And if anyone in the entire league, everybody has kind of started to edit at this point, but if anyone in the league, I wouldn't expect that from TiloTech. We might see him go for those story moons instead. Actually, I already cast a match where someone else wasn't going for it either. It's still a fairly risky route approach. Not only because you have to go for that slot moon, which arguably for some runners is the hard part in this route. That bullet building sub room, which was oh god, TiloTech actually going back. Oh wait, did he miss the moon? Oh, I didn't even see he missed the moon.
So he went for the dram, but he was just a little too close. Okay. So instead of having, you know, Cappy around that electrical line, actually capturing it and going down, having to come back up and struggling with that scoot clip.
Yeah, I wonder, just because like the inner router comes into play there, if it would have been better to get that moon at the end of the kingdom as you warp back, but it's hard to tell. Maybe if you do some sort of like globe dram where you let Cappy have a close to the globe and somehow get in there. But I mean, that's nothing to mess around with in a race, so I can absolutely understand his decision there, and even it might have not even passed her. But Chaos now homing in Cappy to get that back as fast as possible, long jumping over and hopefully making that cycle as he's about to up throw capture this bullet bill and is actually going to be missing it. He is not happy about that one. I actually don't know exactly how that didn't get the bill. Might have been a little bit too low. You want Cappy to be above that bullet bill to get that insta capture, and so Cappy probably only took the hat off. And Chaos not getting rewarded for the risky bullet bill route here. Bullet building route here is going to be taking a death, and we see Tylo going for those musicians. Chaos actually going to be bonking again, and this is going to be TiloTech's chance to immediately get back into this race, if not even take a lead.
Yeah, huge mistakes here in this bullet building. Chaos gonna need to take his time here for a second. Get this right this time around. I mean, this is his third try. It's taking up a ton of time.
Not gonna lie, doing this room like that is harder than the fast thread though. Like, those poles are so annoying.
Yeah, they're moving and you're trying to jump across and time it just right so you can get it done quickly. But able to get it done finally. Gonna be heading on out of there. Kind of a sigh of relief.
Still going to be in a lead here as he warps up to that tower. But the lead definitely diminished quite a bit, because that's where those routes break even. But only looking at around 15 seconds, maybe 20 at most.
Yeah, you can see just how fast that bullet building is still, regardless of making those mistakes compared to the route that Tylo is taking.
Yeah. And keep in mind, his lead obviously built up quite heavily, especially with that early Metro mistake from Tylo going all the way back to collect that moon in the girder. Probably losing at least 10 seconds there. At least. Well, actually, maybe not at least, but oh, a very nice synced moon grab. We are 2 moons apart right now. Tylo still needs to collect the pool and the cafe moon. But once again, I'm expecting around a 20 to a second difference here. Gonna be ground pounding for that coin hint art. Chaos is taking 200 coins. Both of them gonna be completely fine. Actually, okay, I don't know if he grabbed all of the coins from the hint art. I think usually you do. So he may have been exactly... I actually didn't check in slots, but if he only had 11 coins entering slots, that's what that's suggesting. That was actually quite bold. Because if he messed up slots there once, he wouldn't have been able to replay the game.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with your coin count. Especially with those slots if you messed it up. Could be critical to the run. But Chaos heading out of here. Looking like a 30-31 out of Metro.
Mm-hmm. Obviously pretty underwhelming for what that pace was when he entered the kingdom, and he's obviously not going to be happy with this one. Definitely destroying the chances of a sub-hour, which we have yet to see in the league. And Scotch, I haven't actually gotten the chance to ask. Your chat was already throwing around the wildest guesses, and so did the runners. But not sure how many sub-hours you expect in this season.
I'm not. Oh man, that's a tough question. Just because sub-hour has become a little bit more feasible. I'd say if I were to give a percentage, I'd say about 25 to 30% of runs this season I think will go sub-hour, whatever that number is.
That would be quite strong. But honestly, I mean, if these guys wake up and keep playing consistently, I feel like runners like Chaos and Tyron have the potential at least every time. So does Mitch. But after those 3 guys, it gets quite hard. You can obviously see other sub-hour like contenders always pop off and just get it out of nowhere, quote unquote out of nowhere. Like everybody could get a PB. People like Dangers, Lucidity, all are sitting very close in front of that sub-hour mark, could just have that one run during a race. So I'm interested to see.
Oh, no doubt. And Chaos is setting up for this clip here and gets it.
And Snow has also become very, very optimized throughout those last months. People started going for these tiny time saves, just like basically in the entire game. Those strats at some point were known as a theoretical strat like keeping the Spiny alive. TiloTech is going to be getting that Snow clip as well. And yeah, all of these strats at some point considered to be not necessarily a joke, but something you don't want to go for, but the game has changed. And this is where we're at.
Well, Tylo doing a nice job there with that Spiny. Keeping him alive. Chaos finishing up here. This last kind of side area before you head over for that Snowdram.
Goomba room, not a problem for Chaos. And after that room, all he needs to do is buy a moon, go shopping in Shiveria, and then move over to the Odyssey to perform his attempt at Snowdram. And last week, while I was commentating, we actually saw a ledge clip during Snowdram. It's become more and more rare, but it's still a thing. And it's not like that trick is absolutely free. Obviously, all of the memers are going to say Snowdram free, forehead. But at the end of the day, you can always mess it up, especially when the nerves are high.
Yeah, we saw Mitch mess it up earlier, actually. On his second go-around, he decided to take his time and make sure he was set up correctly. But like you said, you know, not completely, not 100% free just yet.
No, definitely. I don't think it's ever going to be. It's kind of like the nut-clip situation, even though this is more on your control, and people have been starting, like we see from Chaos here, even to adapt these small vectors mid-jump to even gain more distance. But sometimes it's just off, and you'll end up taking a fall. But Chaos making that with room, and a ton of room even, also gets back nicely. It was actually missing that chest for a little bit and seemed a little bit upset about it, but still pretty solid. Pretty good Snow, actually. Oh, yeah. According to chat, gold even. Ooh, yeah, that was actually looking pretty neat.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chaos before the race was saying that his internet was kind of poor.
True.
So a little bit of a pause there. We'll get a resync there on the timer here in just a second. Good Snowdram there from Tylo, though. A little time to set that one up, but gets it on the first try, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. That is important. Chaospringle now starting off in Seaside. We are probably going to be resyncing these timers any moment. But yeah, Seaside at this point is basically coming down to clean movement, clean, fast fish movement especially, because it's a pretty straightforward kingdom that actually doesn't have too much overworld movement. It's coming down to clean fish movement and fast clipping towards the end. Ooh, Chaospringle actually getting the rainbow spin there and not committing to that dive. I'm pretty sure he would have bonked there. So he has to reset up his jump all the way up into that fake 2D area. It's a 3D area after all, but the camera is kind of set in a position where you think it's like a 2D area, but it actually does have depth. I'm sure Chaospringle is still gonna be on a mission. This is not gonna be his last race here. For everybody that wanted to see him get a sub-hour in a race, he has lots of races still to go through. And this is not even the last race of the day. We still have lots of content coming up afterwards, and Dangers, for example, gonna be racing. Another potential player who can always get sub-hours. Stravos technically Stravos has sub-hour. Not sure. He's actually scarily consistent in this game, even after not playing much. And we are also Lucidity's playing as well. Who knows? Maybe some of these gamers is popping off. Was checking Lucidity's Twitter earlier, who apparently is having his eyes set on that time. Before he has to go back to school, lol. Hey, can happen any day.
Okay, I'm setting up for this clip now. That's it. First try, nice. We'll want to stay out of this boundary. Edging a little close there, but no worries at all.
Yeah, very nice. And fish clip pretty much down for most of these runners. Even a strategy that new runners at this point start adapting. The hardest part is just once again keeping up your clean fish movement, especially as you go down here and try to grab that moon from out of bounds. And actually really scary camera angle here for TiloTech. I hope he's fine. Yeah,
wow.
That fish was actually way lower than it looked like. The camera kind of just teased us.
Kind of surprised that he stayed out, actually. Like you said, the camera teasing you a little bit. Chaos out of Seaside with a 38-22 into Luncheon now. You've seen Luncheon give these runners a little bit of trouble today. So hopefully these guys can take care of it pretty easily. Difficult level because of these polygons. We'll start off with this triple jump for the salt pile.
Yeah, these big kingdoms, just like they're meant to be, and that's not only because you have to collect so many moons, but that's obviously naturally part of it. Oh, it might. Oh, okay.
He's going to restart Discord. We will get video back for you guys in just 1 second. We apologize for the issues there. In the meantime, Liku _0. Thank you so much for the subscription. A little bit of subscription height in the chat would be much appreciated.
Exactly. Everybody is sub to help it come back. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. That may be the key. Shoutouts to Liku. And we are once again bringing the stream back in around a second. These runners are probably just going to be splicing it up really quick. Splicing in those sub hours. Chaos is going to be getting a sub 6 luncheon. And then we're off to, and we got to go. Sub 5, actually. Yeah, sub 5. Sub 5 luncheon. Shouldn't be that much of an issue.
It's free.
Shoutouts to Amazon.
if you got that Amazon Prime, you can use a
dude, the hidden message though.
Yeah, Prime subscription on us here at speedrun.com.
Amazon sliding in that sellout, guys, basically letting you know that Twitch Prime is a feature that you can use. And it's actually a free sub. Use it now. It looks like TiloTech stream is back already, so let's look at some forks. Don't know if Chaos is probably going to show up in just a second, so we'll see what this race is actually looking like. Hopefully it didn't die in forks or anything, but we are about to be updated on that one.
Yeah, nice forks room. Nice jump over the fence there. And we've got Chaos back as well.
Yeah, definitely on sub 5 luncheon pace here. Now, obviously not. Just grabbing that cheese moon, so still in a comfy lead. Tylo still has to get that moon on the jutting Kraken, then has to roll down, get the cheese, hit the lever, get through the moon cutscene. So I'm expecting Chaos to be on close to a minute lead. We are probably looking at around 40 seconds still, as he is now capturing that Potabu and making his way towards the ending sections of luncheon.
Yeah, Tylo with the minor mistake with the bonk there, just trying to roll out over the mountainside there, having to do a couple extra rotations with the spin throw to catch that pot or pan bro.
Okay, I'm just scared because chat just all popped off and said, Lamar, what the heck, the sound. Not sure what's happening right now. I can't hear it myself, but looks like the sound may be a little bit off pitch. Guys, exactly. Mario just inhaled some helium.
Yeah,
it unique sounds, twist.
It sounds like he's a little bit high pitched there, but we do have video, so I'm glad it's at least working.
Actually, that multi-moon sound sounded so sick. I just tuned into the stream. Someone said Nightcore beat. Dude, actually, that sounded so good.
Oh,
we should do that intentionally once because it actually kind of changes all of the soundtracks, dude. I actually intrigued now.
Yeah, and we've got a true sync here, as it's we're only seeing TiloTech, obviously only seeing TiloTech's side.
Oh, this is clearly Chaos. We can see it on the camera.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just frame
definitely.
perfectly synced.
And now Chaos is Danish. Nope, no, excuse me, he's American.
Hell yeah, brother. Very nice. We are back on track. Shout out to the production team to acting quick. These guys are working 24/7, guys. Keep that in mind. I at least want to see a production talk in the chat room. Otherwise, they are not properly blessed. But let's move on to Ruin Kingdom. Chaospringle definitely with a solid Ruin Kingdom. I remember when Rhea was the one with the untouchable ruins, but everybody kind of caught up.
All right, well, into Ruined now. Good time to get a couple plugs in the chat.
Okay, before you plug, apparently the stream is down. So I think you should probably wait until we are back. At least everybody's saying stream rip. Yes, back, should be back. Okay, time to plug again.
Okay,
we were just saying, we were entering Ruin Kingdom and we were going to use the time to get some plugs in, and Scott is going to be taking the wheel.
Yeah, so we got exclamation point in chat, the schedule, exclamation point schedule, see the full schedule of everything that GSA has going on, what we've got to offer. Full schedule, everything is already planned ahead of time, so you won't miss anything. Exclamation point bracket, see where all your favorite runners are at. Exclamation point merch for the shirts and hoodies, fresh, clean looks. Make sure to check that out. Help support us by buying that merch. Exclamation point YT and exclamation point YouTube for the YouTube channel. All runs are posted there, as well as clips if you missed a run or if you just want to rewatch something. Make sure to check that out. And of course, exclamation point Onyx. Get those Onyx points. You can re-up every 12 hours, and once you get to 500 points, you get a free subscription.
Jesus, those are some benefits. And all where you game? Wow.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
I mean, you get to play a cool game too. Golf Clash, lots of fun.
I can't believe it.
So make sure to check that out.
Great stuff. Right, just playing with the Toad, the Captain, getting some extra coins, which will be basically useless for him, as there's only 2 kingdoms left to play through after Ruined, being Bowser's and the Moon. But Chaospringle now grabbing that multi-moon. 1 phase to go still for Tylo.
Oh, TiloTech not able to avoid all these rotodiscs.
At least still has a heart available to him. And even though this is relatively easy to avoid. I mean, you never want to start the phase with 2 HP because getting that damage boost is going to cause you to go down to 1 in that case. And the dragon is always spawning these, I think, burbos or something is the actual name for these creatures on his head. And sometimes they just spawn below you. And a Death and Ruined is still to this day going to bring shame over your name for the rest of your career.
Well, Chaos heading out of Ruin 47-55. Now onto Bowser's Kingdom. About 12 minutes left in this run, maybe a little bit more.
And that's, obviously one of our last major kingdoms. Now, Moon Kingdom is definitely not a free auto-scroller where you just hold left and you win the game. We have seen multiple big mistakes in Moon. We have seen tons of races decided there, but Bowser's Kingdom definitely still the last major kingdom with tons of movement. It is actually kind of overrated though how much gameplay there is. Bowser doesn't have too much gameplay. The gameplay you do is very tight, but since you collect 3 story moons and a multi-moon, tons of these around 7.5 minutes gameplay time is cutscenes exclusively.
Tylo into Bowser's now as well. Both these guys working through the same level.
Chat currently using normie memes. Definitely slightly disappointed in the chat room right there, but apparently not creative enough to come up with original memes at this time. We'll see. Maybe as the league progresses, we'll actually get some creativity going. But I think they're still cheering on this race because even though Chaospringle has built up a pretty decent lead, as I just pointed out, Moon Kingdom and the Mech Fight have time and time again decided races.
Well, I mean, last race it was what brought the two racers close together. I mean, I had Tyrone with a solid lead, but if taking a fall during that fight with Mecha Brutal, allowing Lil Curbs to make up a significant bit of time, finishing 2 seconds apart from each other.
For sure. Chaos now coming up on the probably most technical section. I mean, charts is definitely very movement intensive, but that specific small section in Bowser's Kingdom can always lose you lots of time. First of all, going for that capture warp strategy, and then as he makes it into the wire, trying to instantly dive out of that wire, going to the right, and then capture the next wire. And as I say that, he just nailed that perfectly. So he's going to be happy with that section.
Yeah, really beautiful shards. And Chaos going topper first. Maybe a little controversial.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he's been sticking to it, right? There's people that just they fight for either camp, the topper or Harriet first camp, and Chaos has been consistent. He's the topper first guy. Not saying that I respect that, but I at least respect consistency and like loyalty. But there's these people that just do it for the meme. I can't respect it, dude. You gotta take a stance.
After taking out Topper, going to be taking on Harriet now. As Tylo makes his way over to these same fights. We shall see what Tylo goes for. Harriet first, obviously.
And obviously Chaos losing some time here as Harriet is pretty disappointed she wasn't chosen first. Tylo actually on the left screen opting to skip out on that Bowser jump. He just went for the original strat, climbed up the front side of that roof, and Chaos's face is like very confused. I didn't actually understand why. He seemed very annoyed. Wait, did he miss another bomb? I actually didn't see it at first. Oh, okay, he did? Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, missing a bomb as Harriet was throwing it. So a little frustrated there with that fight. Not going to be happy with it, but Harriet saying, you didn't pick me first, so going to give you a little bit of grief.
Yeah, we don't have any bird dram shenanigans going on, something that some runners have consistently been opting for. Econ, one of the runners that, for example, goes for that one, which changes up how far these runners are into the kingdom, but both of them with 3 moons before the boss fight, so they will both grab the moon behind that crate. And while getting into that little opening with the crate is already tricky, the really tricky part about getting that moon fast is the movement afterwards. You don't have control over your camera, and you have to make it over to the ledge on the opposite side.
I'm gonna pick up the Pokio now, head up this wall for taking on Mecha Brutal. Again, really the critical part of Bowser's Kingdom, make or break this area.
We've seen it time and time again, and even for those best runners, sometimes you don't get up the leg immediately, you miss a bubble, and then the time loss is inevitable. But Chaos now getting a very quick climb up on the mech. All he needs to do now, it's not going to be opting for any fancy topper acquired strategies, which we've also seen being used more and more, where you basically instantly snipe the topper but without the mech even starting to turn. It's not going to be opting for that, and I can respect it. Consistency is key, and that's Chaos's name. So all he needs to do now is wait for that 3rd cycle to end, and then snipe Harriet and acquire the target, which is in this case Pure. It's knocked back, hopefully gets those quick dives and the quick spin pound and nails that mech easily.
Really nice Mecha
the
Brutal
park.
fight. Yeah, makes it look really simple, but obviously staying on top of that. Mecha is very difficult. So Chaos happy to get out of there.
And see if Tyler's going to be able to match that. And I am very impressed, even though Chaos made those big mistakes in Metro Kingdom. He's still hanging in there. He's still very close. And someone was pointing out that he was on PB pace earlier. His current PB on the board is a 101.40. He will be able to check back as he leaves this kingdom if there's any chances left. Actually didn't track his exit in Ruined. But 1 hit to go, and that's actually the important one. You need to get this topper acquired hit. And ending this kingdom takes around, I think, 90 seconds as soon as you actually collect the multi-moon. So we'll be able to see it from there. I think it's out of reach, though, now that I kind of did some rough math. I think the best that he could really get would be like a 1 or 2. But we'll see. Yeah, 90 seconds from here. I think the best that he could get, like realistically, would be like a 1 or 150 or something like that. We obviously see as he goes through the moon, and that would require a really good moon, by the way. Just saying. The best moon we've seen is a. Is it a 501 still? I've recently seen a Miles Pro 501 or 5 flat. I think it was a 501. And that's like the best moon that's currently out there.
Yeah, it's cutting it close at that point.
Okay, it's apparently already a 500. I knew I saw some upgrade. I wasn't sure if it was 501 or 540. So 5 minutes is the best moon that you can get. And Tilo would need a moon like that to shoot for a personal best. So it is technically possible, but looking pretty hard. Well, technically, he could be fine with a 505, but even that would be kind of crazy. Oh wait, what am I saying? He can get a 515, right? Actually, not completely out of reach, I guess.
Yeah, it's cutting it close for sure. But Chaos with the vectors here.
Oh, okay. I also just got updated that his PB now is 1:27, so there's like no way that he can't beat that, even with like a 5-minute moon. So still a good performance, and I think he came pretty close here to Chaos, who is not yet done. He just did a very nice moon skip, but he has to go through the Bowser fight and the escape section.
TiloTech not needing to do any dives or anything. Good vectors on that first triple jump on the moon. Good rollouts as well. Gonna be going for his moon cave skip.
And
Wall
actually,
kicks.
Grumpon's very at the very top of the head of the Sphinx, like the forehead, and not the emote. I'm talking about the actual forehead. Gets it still though, even though it's a little bit lower than the middle of the head. Still nails that moon skip though, and is also going to be making his way towards Bowser. But Chaos is already in phase 2. Tylo also opting for the spin throw strategy to actually start the fight off, and gets that hit in. Chaos now on the 3rd phase though, so this is pretty much the last opportunity for him to lose time in the Bowser fight. Every other mistake, while very costly, is fairly unlikely and only rarely seen, especially for a player like Chaos, but I don't want to rule that out completely. We have already seen A to B skip death. Tylo barely grabbing that head, but as long as Bowser doesn't get it back, she might only lose a tiny bit of time.
Oh, Tylo.
This is the hit right there, and Bowser is going to be jumping away from it. Is at 2 HP still, which is some sort of a safe zone. Sometimes, and time again, you do see runners fall onto that 1 HP mark, and he still has 1 phase to go through. So if he is, and he probably is, going to go for the damage boost here, and no heart spawns as he's hitting those heads, can actually be quite scary towards the very end. But let's also check out Chaos, who's now opting to go into the section. Well, he's not opting. He's forced to. Oh wait, that's that's definitely an annoying damage.
Yeah, he can't go for that damage early now.
Yeah, and he's not opting to grab that heart, and that actually is going to make Bowser jump away again. Yeah, better grab that heart. I was about to say, keep in mind that points are on the line here. Chaos is now going through that release section. He already nailed it. But keep in mind, points are on the line here. If he was to take a death here, which I probably can tell you guys is going to avoid that, as he picked up that safety heart, you will lose some of those points.
Well, Chaos heading into these pillars now. We'll be clutching this win.
Yeah, and I'm still impressed, even though Tylo made some mistakes here towards the very end. I'm still impressed overall. He was able to keep it relatively close, always in reach of 1 major mistake from Chaos. Keeping in mind that Chaos obviously did make a major mistake in the bullet building subroom, was probably his biggest mistake as well. Unless we missed a mistake that he was basically getting off stream as we had some technical difficulties. But yeah, overall, I am pretty... it's a respectable performance by Tylo, that's all I want to say. We've seen runners get worse times, I think. I hope that's true. And if not, he still managed to get a close race in.
Well, nice 146 from Chaos. Tylo, as long as he can get this done pretty quickly, might be able to squeak out a 101. It's going to be much closer to a low 102, though.
Oh, yeah,
grabbing
101.
some points.
101 is going to require a pretty solid pillar room. But the points obviously still on the line regardless. Chaos is dabbing it up. He's going to be quite happy with that 100-46. And we've actually seen a 100-43, a 45, and now a 46 today. So this seems to be around right now the average for these high-level players.
Yeah, that's what these guys are going for. Low 100s. That's what's going to win races up to this point. Obviously, getting 59 would be really, really nice, but the likeliness, as we said earlier, the likeliness of that is very slim.
Yeah, and let's see. Tylo actually break that block quite early, but is not going to be able to secure that 101, and instead probably going to be getting a 102.04 as he shoots at the wire right now, and that's still pretty respectable. Comes in relatively close, is going to be snagging in some points. Those will be updated before the next match, so you get a live look onto those brackets. You can also type an exclamation mark bracket as we go. But Chaospringle is going to be securing a win here. Takes it home. Pretty nice time. Scotch, thank you for joining. Actually, currently asking if we do want to have some interviews. We might see Chaos hop in here with the typical hell yeah, brother. And Tylo, I think, has already joined.
Yeah, we've got Tylo in the chat with us. GG's on grabbing some points there, man. Kind of walk us through that run and tell us how you feel about that.
I mean, it was closer than what I expected, I guess, so that's a good thing. But my mistakes in the end was really pissed me off. Because that was a 1-on-1 4x space maybe, and yeah, I made like 30 or 20 seconds of mistakes in that Bowser fight. And overall, I was making I feel like my controller was failing me a little bit because I don't know, spin pounds didn't come out, a lot of dropped inputs. It was very frustrating, but I finished, I guess.
All right, and I agree, by the way. I think it was a really nice race. You always basically were in reach to kind of make the miracle comeback happen. But Chaospringle also joining us, taking the win, showing us how to use the bullet building route with full efficiency. And how did that feel? I mean, still getting a 1:0:46, like, this is not bad, but it obviously could have been better. Let me know.
Okay, so basically what happened was I went too fast, and I didn't. Okay, so if you go too fast, there's like two things you can do. I knew I was too fast. You can like slow down a bit, which I tried to do, but I didn't slow down enough. Or you can just do it. There's a strat where you just like turn around and slows you down. Like, it's really easy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just doing what I practiced, which was like to slow down, but I should have just done the normal or the strat that you're supposed to do when you're going too fast. So yeah, dumb mistake, dumb decision.
On the second one is probably just like bullet building those poles.
Yeah, I don't have any backups or anything.
Yeah, so yeah. And in that room sucks, honestly.
Yeah. But like the run was good overall. Like, I'm pretty happy. Like, before my race, I did an reset and got a sub-hour, so I was feeling pretty confident. But I just keep
also pointing out a potential snow gold. Can you confirm?
Yes. Yeah. 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah.
Snow gold.
We're pretty clean. I saw like you missed the chest opening, but other than that, it looked pretty decent.
I think it was like 30 pace in the snowdrome, and then I'm slow, so.
Well, I would still be happy with that, getting a win and winning by still a decent margin, while still showing off a race that was at least definitely entertaining and still wasn't considered a completely over or completely dead. So definitely a good one this week. But both of these guys will obviously be back next week at the same day for their next match. And after a little bit of an intermission, we still have another match now with Stravos 96 versus Dangers. And I'm interested. Two gamers. Stravos always with that consistency in races. Super scary. I don't know what that guy does, but he's definitely a gamer. And Dangers obviously very warmed up. Does a ton of 80%. I've seen him do no resets recently. So interested to see how that one turns out. But don't go anywhere, guys, as we go into a little bit of an intermission. And see you guys soon.
Later.